Years now, actually.
What's the best moment you ever had being a barber?
Damn, you want to know the best moment?
Best moment. Drop it on us.
All right, we're going straight to the good shit. Huh?
Got to look, because the people watching don't. And for the most part, they support the podcast. And if you haven't yet, you got to go subscribe right now. Drop a follow button on us, on the barbershop, on the personal page, everything. But they're here to watch you, learn about you.
Yeah.
So we're only here for when you get a cut. What are you, for an hour? If you got to wait, maybe an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm. Not even that, because nowadays it's appointment based.
Well, I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you fizz. I got to.
No tienen casa.
I went to high school with them.
They stay here porque no tienen casa.
Yeah, they come with beer. You know what I mean? I went to high school with them. These are my boys. So normally, especially like with Miguel, I'll run their appointment for 45 minutes to an hour just to chill and kick it. I could cut Miguel's hair. What's the fastest I've ever cut your hair before?
10 minutes.
25, 30, quick, but I'm not even talking to him. You know what I mean? I'm just in the zone, boom, 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 get out. You know what I mean?
So your best moment, most satisfying moment, like you just kind of took a step back and you're like,
before we came here to this location, we were next door. I was chopping up and I cut some dude's hair. It was my first time meeting him. Sat down in my chair, I'm chopping him up, we're talking, I'm asking him questions, trying to get to know the guy. And I started asking him questions, like, I forgot what I asked him, but we started talking about his family.
Yeah.
And I noticed that he was tearing up, right? I didn't realize it until, I felt bad because I didn't realize it until, like, tears were coming down, and he was, like mocoso, like, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh, shit. Like, I looked at him, so I turned him around to face the wall rather than facing the people. Yeah. And he was telling me that this guy, at the time, he was, like, 25. He was like 25 at the time. He was telling me that his mom passed away 2 weeks ago at the time, and his dad passed away a week before that, right? And I don't remember if it was his mom first or his dad first, but both of his parents had passed away, and he was an only child. They had a house. He was going to UC Irvine. I remember he was telling me UC Irvine full time, and he was working at a movie theater part time, right?
Jesus.
So he was telling me that his parents passed away, and not only the fact that his parents passed away was enough, like, a lot to deal with. They had a house that just so happened to fall on him. They had, different stuff that he needed to take care of eventually, and he's like, "Yo, I don't know what to do. I'm an only child. I don't have no siblings. Like, I gotta put both of my parents in the ground. That's hard as it is. One, maybe, and then two is even worse.
Yeah.
And I must have taken about an hour and a half on his haircut. It was about an hour and a half. We're just talking. Whole time I gave him a towel, cleared up a little bit. He was able to talk a little more. And at the end, I remember he got off the chair, and I don't know, I just felt weird charging him. I said, you know what? Hey, this one's on me. Don't worry about it. Like, you got bigger shit to deal with than to pay me for a haircut. And he's like, no. I remember he was getting a little upset with me. He's like, I didn't come here for sympathy. Like, I didn't come here for that. Like, I'm going to pay you. And I'm like, nah, dog. Like, yeah, it's cool. And I've never met the guy. I've never met him. And I'm like, nah, bro, it's all good. Like, your money's really no good to me. You need to handle what you got to handle, figure out what you got to figure out, and call it a day. I remember, I normally, people that I know, I'll dap them up. Other clients, I'll peace out or whatever, or handshake. I remember I brought him in for a hug, or I brought him in for a hug like that, a little half hug. I was going to give him a little half hug, and I felt him let go of my hand and hug me. And he hugged me tight, and I swear to you, bro, I choked up. I'm like getting children, I'm about to choke up. He hugged me tight, and I was like, oh, shit. And then he's like, yo, thank you, bro. Like, I really needed, to talk. Yeah. And I remember I choked up, bro. I was like, shit, okay, no problem, bro. I'm glad that I could extend the help for you, a hand for you, know what I mean, an ear actually. And he left. I didn't see him for, like I said, I didn't know who he was. I didn't cut him up prior, so it wasn't a person who I would recognize
and stuff.
Yeah. And he came about 3 months, 4 months later. I remember where my chair was at, I was in the corner, and I can see the front door, right? And he was walking in with a big-ass smile on his face, like, what's up? And I'm like, oh, shit, I remember who this guy is, Yeah. So he walks up, and he was my appointment. So he sat down and said, what's up? He hugs me. He's like, what's cracking? How you been? I'm like, yo, you look good. Like, you know, what's good with you? And he's like, yeah, man. He said that he had sold the house, right? And he got himself a little apartment where he's living. And then he stopped going to school full time, but he got a full time job for I guess a water company in Irvine or something like that. And he's living in Irvine. And he's like, you know, what happened was tough, but you got to keep it pushing. You know what I mean? Keep it going. And I got through it. I figured it out. You know, how to deal with it, how to cope with it, and yeah, so man, this guy was
the outcome of it. Like seeing him after was rewarding. You're just like you're looking back and you're just like, oh fuck, like
yeah. Well, the guy sat down.
I seen you when you were
when he was at a low point. Yeah. You know what I mean? He sat down and I remember before we even started the haircut, he turns his chair with his foot. He's like, yo, hey, bro, I appreciate everything you did for me. Like, I don't even know who you were. You don't know me, and you lended an ear for me, and you were there. Like, that shit's is raw. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember I chopped him up, finished his haircut, and then he's like, hey, I'm paying for this cut. And I was like, all right, for sure. Like, I got you. And he went to the front. Before it was, instead of paying the barber, it was pay the shop. So he went to the front, paid the haircut, and he comes over here, you know, dap me up. And I noticed that he has a bill in his hand. So he like folded up, and he's gonna tip me. So I see it, shake hands, turn, and then he's like, peace out, I'll see you. And I was like, for sure, bro, thank you. I turn around, I look, and it's a $100 bill. And I turn around and say, yo, hey, hold on. Like, what's with this? He's like, I saw you, bro. And I was like, nah, that's too much, bro. Like, kick back. And he's like, that's not enough. Like, trust me when I tell you that's not enough. And, bro, when he said that, like, I was like, fuck.
Crying one more time.
And I brought him